Hello friends and welcome to another episode of Whose Fault Is It Anyways? This time we're looking at a mid-Archon hard support Warlock who knows he's supposed to rotate eventually, but if the carry's leaving the lane, shouldn't he get the farm there, protect the tower, right? Isn't that good to do? Well, he does that, and then his team starts calling him hard carry Warlock because he's farming so much. So let's find out who's right. What should he be doing? Should he rotate around or should he be protecting these towers? The hard part is that sometimes it's both. Sometimes either one could be correct. So although it might be right in this game to do one or the other, keep in mind in your games it could be a little different. We'll try to go into that and explain why. Now before going into the game itself, let's talk about what it means to rotate. It takes time, and that's the issue. You want your carry to be farming freely as much as possible, but if you have to leave because you have to walk mid, this takes 30 seconds to go from bottom to mid at 300 move speed. From mid to top, another 30 seconds. So it takes a minute to get to this lane if you walk. And that's a minute that you're leaving your carry alone. So let me tell you, if your carry can jungle, you feel a lot better about rotating because the carry plays the lane when they can, and if they can't play the lane, my support's not here, I can't do anything. But if I can jungle, I just go jungle and I farm that way. And so now your carry's farming freely no matter what, and that opens you up to do other things. And at any time you're required to come back, you teleport home. Now, the less time that takes, the better. The more likely, like the faster you run mid, let's say instead of 30 seconds, it takes like 15. That's 15 seconds different. Maybe you can get something done in 15 seconds, and then now I have to TP back. Or because you did something, it draws them to come here, and now you never have to TP back. But if you take too long because you're slow, you're kind of just wasting time walking around. That's why before moving around too much, it can help to get boots first. It's not a requirement, but it definitely helps. It cuts the time, for example, from the bottom lane to the top lane from 60 seconds to 45 seconds. You're going Midas first. Now, we're not going to go too far into this or be too harsh because out of any support who could do this, Warlock is a pretty good option. He's very good in the late game, and this is a pub game, so it is likely to go late. But I do recommend you get at least boots first, if not the arcane boots as well, and then go into your Midas. I won't go beyond that. All of this is to set up the point that when you know you have a set amount of time that you're not needed in the lane, that is a good time to start thinking about rotating. That's where we're starting here a little earlier than when you gave me the timestamps because Puck rotated down here and you actually pick up a Phoenix kill. And this is a great time to say, is Drow going to die if I leave the lane right now? Probably not because the enemy support just died, and the offlaner is an Ogre Magi who's a level behind, probably not too much, he's probably getting close to 5, but Drow will be okay. Plus, she can go jungle. So now's a good time to just heal her up and then head out of here if you want to do that. Now, this particular game, I'm okay with you being here because the only way they really kill Drow and prevent her from farming is by continuously throwing spells at her and getting her low. And if you just keep healing her, she doesn't have to worry about that at all. But other matchups will be different. And sometimes you won't be needed here as much. Sometimes you won't be contributing as much. Because really right here, all you're doing is healing her. So if she has any way to heal herself, like she still has tangos, or she bought a Morbid Mask first, which isn't like the common build, but like whatever, sometimes it'll happen. Like if she has that, you're not needed here. If they 2v1 fight her, yeah, it doesn't feel as good, but they can't right now. So this is actually one of the earlier points where you could consider rotating because we're hitting all these different criteria I'm talking about. You might think, oh, don't I need to pull the lane back? No, because she can jungle, so she doesn't need the lane to be back. The new age farming pattern for carries is to shove, the beginning of the game, you keep it here because everyone's weak, you don't want to play out here. But as your carry gets going, you shove the lane in, you come jungle, the lanes probably come back, you come to the lane, you push it out, you repeat. If it's not back by the time you're done here, you move on, and then eventually you cycle back. You'll see a lot of carries doing this. Let's jump up to the 10-minute mark you started talking about, and at this point, you've really just sat behind Drow and kept healing her up, and you know what? She has been farming with that heal, and here's that point you're saying, like, hey, she went to the jungle, so don't I need to be here? No. Remember what I said earlier. She's gonna come back. If they can shove the lane in so quickly that you have to be here every 30 seconds to kill off the creep wave, that does not leave a lot of time for the carry to, jungles through and then come back. Maybe they can do these two, but sometimes that's dangerous especially if the enemy two are still here. But if the enemy does not have the best wave clear, what they can do is shove out the lane fast and then go do this. And in the time it takes for the lane to push back, they can finish the camps and come back. We're dealing with the Phoenix and an Ogre. They could throw out a ton of spells to push faster, but they have a limited mana pool, especially on the Ogre, to do that. Even with these items, you see he's like sitting low on mana. If he's using all his spells to push in creeps, he can't use it to kill Drow. So he's not a great example of a hero who like really threatens the tower quickly and threatens the enemy hero, so you don't actually need to be here. You can just let Drow do what we talked about, farm this stuff, and come back when the wave gets here. Right now, you could be walking top. Let's watch what you do for now, but keep in mind, at 10:30, you could be in the mid lane, and at 11 minutes, you could be top lane. Let's see what you do for the next minute that you feel like, oh, I need to be here to protect this, and, you know, I can't even leave for a moment. Drow, like, has no time to come back here, right? So far, we're just watching Ogre. You're too scared to approach because it's 2v1. Now, you are getting some XP, but you actually have the tome on the way, so you're already 6, and we can start thinking about trying to use our ult. If we use our ult down here, you know, offlane kill's okay. If you kill Phoenix, that's just a 4 support, and this tower's not that great. We'd much rather get, like, mid tower or top tower. Now, it is 10:50. Let me jump back a bit. Let's go back to 10:30. So we're saying you're in the mid lane. If you were in the mid lane right now, oh, shit, Enchantress is trying to take the mid lane with this catapult. So you can use Upheaval to defend this. Puck, where's Puck? He's rotating right now. He's trying to get things done. Let's not worry about like whether he should or not. He is doing this. If he has to spend the time walking top, and then, I got to defend this, TP back, he's kind of spent 20 seconds doing nothing, and he had to use his teleport. But if a support, like you, is protecting mid right now, then he is free to continue this gank. He spent 20 seconds walking up here, and now he can find his target, Dream Coil, and all of that. In this case, he does decide to stay up here, and your team just loses mid. Now, you could TP mid as a response when you see this happens, but that means if Drow walks down here and you need to help her, you can't help her. Now, I probably would still TP mid in this case to protect this, because mid tower is pretty important, even more so than this one, I'd say. But that, like, the situation that is here, because you didn't walk, requires a teleport. But if you had walked, you'd already be here. You're saying, well, Zach, what if I had to TP down here? Drow can cover bottom. She's supposed to. Maybe she won't because it's a pub game, but she's supposed to cover bottom. So you'd be there, and you could keep making your way top. At this point, you haven't really done anything. Ogre is still just keeping the lane out here, getting denies, and you've just been, like, sitting back here. So you're not really needed here. She's drawing creep aggro on Phoenix, so actually, if she hadn't done that, the next creep wave's meeting here, and it continues to stay out here. At this time, you would be top with your ultimate, because the totem, or with the tomes here, and you can maybe look to make a play with your Slardar and Clockwork, carry Abaddon, you know, Lich. Hey, look, Lich just stacked all these, triple stack, come gank, maybe you don't even kill him, but you steal these stacks with your offering. That's pretty good. That's having a lot of impact. You're stealing resources from the enemy. Lich is spending time stacking, and you steal it from him. And you know there are stacks because your team has already placed an observer here. But you're down here. And now you're doing something. So now you're using Upheaval, and defending this tower is good because Drow didn't quite make her way back here. But if you were Drow, would you go back here? When there's a Warlock sitting here for the last minute? Just kind of thinking like, well, I don't have to go back. And if I do, what if Warlock just takes farm from me? Like, and I'm splitting XP. That doesn't feel very good, so I don't think I will. But if you weren't here, Drow is more likely to come down because she sees all these creeps and goes, oh yeah, I want creeps, I'm a carry, oh, I can't help myself. She just runs down here and she protects this tower. Because is she gonna die under tower to Ogre and Phoenix? Not fast enough that you couldn't TP down and try to help her out. So, you're not needed here. She should do it. If she doesn't do it, then you can consider TPing down to protect that tower. You end up staying long enough that Drow does come down here and you kill Phoenix. Let's go back to where we started. We killed Phoenix. The death time is longer now. 25 seconds. 1v1. Ogre, Drow. Are we good? In this case, Drow's pretty low after that kill. So you probably heal Drow. But are you actually needed here to protect this? No, you're not Lone Druid, so you can just send the Golem at these, and you can start walking away. Look how far this lane is. You're not really needed here, like, instantly to protect this tower. No, no, no. You can walk away. You can heal Drow. Drow will heal up while killing all these creeps, and then she'll come back down here and start that cycle again. You could walk away. You could go mid, you could go top. Instead, You're gonna watch them. Gonna sit here. Sit in the trees. Look at them. The golem can do all this without you. So you're not needed here. You're getting some XP for it, but you're limiting what you can do for the rest of your team. You're just still in the bottom lane. And it's going to require you to teleport away, which means, again, you never get to come back to help Drow if she's needed. So you got to walk. Got to walk top. And if you walk top, you killed Phoenix at 12 minutes, you'd be top right now. Here at 13 minutes. Maybe we can start getting involved in stuff. Or maybe you stopped mid, and now the three of you pressure this mid tower. By the way, you took Tome earlier, but you got to look at your support, your other support. Clockwork's 4. You were already almost at 6, and in that case, it actually does make sense to sit on the tower. Give Clockwork the Tome, stay under the safe lane tower till you hit 6, and then rotate out. That's okay. If you're going to take the Tome because you're going to get 6 with the Tome and no one else needs it, that's fine, but it also means you're free to not have to be stuck under a tower getting XP. You're free to go get in position to use your ult. If you don't get in position, you're not going to get a good ult. That's kind of what this down period is. You have a little longer till your ult is up, so I don't hate that you're kind of like chill period right now, but like, are we really doing anything here? Not that much. In fact, Enchantress is here now, and this is when you ask like, oh, I think I should leave now. This is too late. What's going to happen here is that they're going to push this, and they're already at your tower. Your tower's at half health. You guys, now if you had walked mid, you're already here, that's fine. You can start pressuring this. If you want to rotate here, you're like rotating back here and then walking up. They might have already done something else at that point. If you want to push top tower, you TP here, you still got to push the lane in. What they can do is take this tower first, then TP top and defend, and you get nothing, and they get a tower. So at this point, even though you want to rotate now, funny enough, you stay here now because you're already here, and you should be using upheaval, because at this point, Drow definitely doesn't want to come here now, because now it's 3 heroes potentially in this area, whereas before it was just like Ogre and sometimes Phoenix. That's playable. Now the enemy mid laner, mid enchantress, a little weird, but the enemy mid laner is here. Drow doesn't want to come here, but you as a hard support are worth less. So if you can delay their push and you make them waste their time and you end up dying, that's okay, because you're a hard support. But you're in the wrong spot. You kind of need to be here. Though, funny enough, I think if you walk here and then channel upheaval, you can channel like right around here, and they'll think you're like back here. They'll come look for you, but you'll actually be like killing the creeps as they walk in from like over here. So if you had actually killed this creep wave with upheaval, I think that would have been worth your time to not rotate at this given instance. But because he kind of didn't do that, now we're just watching, and we've been sitting in the trees for like a minute and a half to almost 2 minutes at this point, and that's almost never the right answer. So yeah, I mean, like, we're just vibing in the trees, and you're not even like treant. You're just a warlock. This teleport, let's again roleplay Drow. I'm not talking about you here. Let's roleplay Drow. Let's go back to that idea. I want to farm jungle, and I want to shove out lanes. Oh shit, warlock's here. Everyone in Dota's jaded. That's the truth, right? When she sees you there, she's like, warlock's gonna steal my farm. If I go there, warlock's not gonna leave. I'm not gonna go there. That's not always the case, obviously. I'm being a little harsh here, but like, it happens quite a lot. So you have to like make it very obvious to the carry, like, I'm stepping away. This is your farm. Please come down here. Take these last hits. Push out the lane. Do the right thing. But if you don't make that obvious, if you don't say on the communication, like, hey, come down here, I'll go away. If you don't step away without saying anything, right? She looks down here and she goes, I don't need to go there. I won't go there. And you're creating the scenario where like, you're here because Drow's not here, but Drow's not going to come here because you're here. Right? We're in a cycle. You have to be the first one to step away. So you kill these 2 creeps under your tower, and then you step away. You go top. Walk top right now. 14 minutes, you'll be top. At 15 minutes, you'll have your ultimate. Or maybe you stop mid and you like something happens there, but there's no towers here, so that's probably not, right? Make your way top, and maybe you could do something. If you rotated earlier, hey, look, a fight's going on here. You could already be here because we spent 2 minutes in the trees over here. You could have walked, or you could have TP'd top, something like that, right? I don't love like TPing away from here, but I mean, you were trapped in these trees, so like at that point, a TP's okay, and just tell Drow to be careful. So like you could already be top instead of TPing down here, and you could be helping your team, even with the Midas, right? You could be Fatal Bonds, Shadow Word, Upheaval. The whole point of Upheaval early is it's so powerful against heroes. Not that it's like a farming mechanic. It is, but it's not like why you strictly want to use it. You want to use it because it's a crazy powerful slow and some damage versus enemy heroes. And so like that's what should be going on here. But you're here using it on creeps. And you and Drow are like fighting over creeps. So coming up to the last minute, right? You ward, this is good. You've been getting kind of like baited by creep waves. That is what you want to do to the enemy. So that is what the opportunity here at 15 minutes is. First, only use one spell. Probably Upheaval in this case because you don't have enough creeps to help make Fatal Bonds like push this out. So come stand out here, Upheaval, kill this creep wave. This creep wave, let me just show you actually. It's meaning this creep wave. This is equal creep waves, but there's a slightly on the low ground. So actually this is slightly pushing in your favor, but more or less equal. You can shove this or you can leave it. One or the other, it's your choice depending on the map state and what you think is best. If you shove this lane in, it's good because this is the catapult wave, so you're protecting it from yours, or your tower is being protected from their catapult, and because you're going to shove this in, it's going to go over here, and it's going to draw one of the enemy to defend their tower, and that's going to let you know where they are, and you see Phoenix down here, and now you know there's only 3 heroes here. So after you push this in, you sprint top as fast as you can without your boots. You get there, you have your ult, and you can take a favorable fight up here and take this tower, and you can start moving into here with this ward, right? So many good things can start to line up. Or you don't. And Drow, who's farming here right now, because this lane is equal, it's going to stay here for quite a while. And so Drow will finish farming down here, she'll move her way here, and then she'll deal with mid. The risk of not touching it is that someone on the enemy team is close by and pushes this in, and now it requires one of you to come here. And if Drow's still over here, she either has to TP, which, you know, maybe doesn't feel the best, or one of these heroes which are being active, and you want them to be up here, they feel they need to defend the tower, and they TP back, and that's not good. So I would be safe here. I would shove this out right away. You get kind of sidetracked. You like go ward, and then you walk back. But again, you're slow ass with no boots. It takes a lot of time to do this, so that by the time you do this, right, the enemy has gotten to like do things and move around. We've lost some vision now, and we're sitting on our ult longer, which it was up already, but we're not using it. We got to get up here, but now the enemy's had time to like move things around, right? So I am kind of glad you like came back and pushed it, but ideally you identify it sooner that needs to happen, and then you can like get with your team and start making plays sooner. In summary, I hope you can see why you had opportunities to leave. I would say a lot of the stuff you did in bottom after the 10-minute mark wasn't strictly required. If you do need to come back, you can TP down here. I would have much rather you take any of those opportunities we saw to just walk away from here and either play mid or play top. From their perspective, oh, I should say real quick, the mid lane stuff I was okay with, right? Like you push out mid before going top, that's okay. You walked here and then walked back, that's a little inefficient, but like whatever. Overall, you had the right idea. But come top, right? From their perspective, this is the first time they've seen you in 16 minutes, and you're higher level than all of them, and you have a Midas. So you can kind of see where they're coming from. Or like, where the heck has this Warlock been? Why hasn't he been helping us? As a side note, Clockwork is still 5, and this is very sad. So this is not what you asked about, but this is a equally significant mistake. You took the tome when you were going to sit in the lane for XP and Clockwork needed it more. If you think about it, you hit 6 at 10 minutes. Golem is a long cooldown, but you still could have used it 3 times by now. Clockwork, who's hit 6 at minute 10, 60-second cooldown, could have made 6 plays by now with this. So having him hit 6 first is arguably a little bit more important to get things rolling, and he could have found a kill every minute while you catch up. You get to 6 in that lane sitting down here, then you come up here and you use your golem to do something. You've been kind of sitting on it, and in that meantime, Clock has not even been able to hit 6 to use hookshot. So it's kind of a totally separate mistake from what we're talking about, but I wanted to mention it here because I am crying for Clockwork right now. It's so sad. You're almost double his level at 16 minutes. Like I want to cry for him. It's pitiful. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you want to be in a future video, leave a comment with the information you see on the screen, and I'll see you there. Bye.